Hello everybody, Steven here with Cardboard Coalition. And today I thought I would try to bring you a quick video. I'm going to try to keep it quick, talking about starting to crowdfund games basically. We did a video about Kickstarter and how to kind of navigate and what it is and what you can do there. And I decided, or I figured, because Gamefound has a whole bunch of games coming out in July, that it would be a good time to talk to you guys about Gamefound and how you can look for games on there. All the stuff I've said before still applies with thinking about who you're going to play with, how many people you're going to play with, what kind of themes you like, how much money you want to spend, how many games you can play. All that stuff still works, but I just figured I would go over some of the stuff that's about to come out on Gamefound. So as you notice in the background, I have Gamefound kind of set up. Let me go ahead and jump over here. So I figured I'd run through a couple of these things. At first, I'm going to talk about the ones coming out, and then I'm going to use the last thing on Gamefound to show you guys kind of how you can navigate around Gamefound. And then there's a couple things that will be coming out on Kickstarter, or one of them should be because it's postponed, that I'm kind of interested in. And all this stuff is stuff that I'm kind of interested in. And there's tons of stuff out there, and you might be interested in different things. And just because I'm interested definitely doesn't mean I'm going to buy. It's just something that's kind of flipped a flag up, turned the radar on, or jumped on the radar, however you want to look at it. So let's go ahead and dive into this. So the first one is platformer. And I really fear if I show Lavon this one, she's really going to want it. And I don't know if I want to or not. So one of the things that's really interesting, actually, let's go back and do this. I know I'm clicking on things. I want to show you guys something really quick. So I talked before in one of the videos about crowdfunding games, and I talked about Gamefound and how you can look through games. So one of the things I think is really nice about Gamefound is they're going to tell you things that are coming up. And don't worry if there's things here that are interesting, we're going to. Right? They have their active projects here. And then at the bottom they have upcoming projects. And you can go down here and you can click on see all upcoming projects, right? And it's going to pop them all up, and it pops them up in order of when they're supposed to come up on Gamefound, which is really awesome. Especially really easy for someone like me who's fairly new person, right? A new player, if you want to look at the whole board gaming and getting into this stuff. So I thought it'd be helpful to share it with you guys so you can see. So I really like how Gamefound works. There's not a lot of games on Gamefound yet that they've kickstarted, and they're going to kickstart more. So it's put together, Gamefound's put together by a company called Awaken Realms. And at first it was just a manager. Now I can't think of it right now. A project manager where you would go and put in the rest of your information about your like your address and stuff, so they can send you the game and collect up the rest of your fees and stuff, and you can pick what you want and all that. But now they've turned into a full crowdfunding site for board games. So just to get us back on track, I'll show you right here. So platformer, you can go down here, you can see everything that's getting ready to come out. And I've clicked on a couple of them that I'm interested in. There's probably more, and maybe I'll do another video if there's more, talk about some more stuff. But this is the stuff that, from what I can tell, is coming out in July that I think is kind of interesting. So the first thing coming up, and this is in chronological order, the first coming up, next, right? So this one, right, you can click on it to see what it is. It tells you in 3 days it's going to come up. If you look at on the page before, when you're looking at stuff, it'll tell you down here it launches in 3 days. All right, so you can go, oh, that one's coming up, I want to kind of get in. One of the things that's interesting in it, and one of the reasons it's smart if you're interested in board gaming to do this kind of stuff, is you can get a little bit of a bonus if you know something's coming up. Remember what I said before, usually you're paying full price for the game. You're going to get a little bit of a discount, but then you add in shipping and you're paying full price for the game. So you got to weigh that in. So on this one, on platformer, you have a €4 discount. So for us American, what's that, $6, maybe $7 discount overall. But when you first click on this page, it lets you know, right, this is a campaign preview, so you can't buy into or fund it yet, right? You can't back it yet. But you can click follow. I already have it followed on mine. If I click follow now, it'll make me sign in. So in my account, I have this followed, right? And so it says if you follow, right, you get this discount. So one of the smart things to do with crowdfunding, with Kickstarter and this, And I think I talked about this before, is you can say, yes, I'm interested. Let me follow in this case, or when the Kickstarter or with Gamefound, when the project, let's say project, when the project first opens, you can click on one of the amounts. Always make sure you know that it'll check to see if it'll give you access to the Pledge Manager, because sometimes the $1 doesn't, but the $5 does, and other times there's no $5, but the $1 does. So always check that. But what you could do, what I tend to do, good or bad, is I'll click on the lowest cost package for the game, right? And set up and you want to make sure you set yourself up I'm blanking on it, a warning. Set yourself up a warning, right? But set up a warning so you know when it's going to end, so you don't end up getting charged if you don't want to, or you might want to add. Or if you get into it, you might start following. Especially, the other thing is when you click that you want to back anything on Gamefound or Kickstarter, they'll start sending you updates, and they'll give you a warning when it's getting ready to close too. So you can see all the new things they're adding. If you want a bigger package, you want whatever, it'll kind of keep you informed. So what you can do is, on this sense, because it's not out yet, you can click follow, right? And it'll let you know. So back to platformer, why I think it's interesting. It's from Awaken Realms Light, which is, like I said, Awaken Realms, but this is their lighter version. I guess light's the best way to put it. You could say more family-friendly, kid-friendly, but it's lighter on mechanics, lighter on understanding. But as you can see, it's chibi, and from the name you can tell it's called platformer. It's about platforming. You're going to fight bosses. I think it's 4 to 5. We'll look here in a second. But you get to fight bosses. Oh, or I can scroll up a little bit. It doesn't say up here. But you can fight bosses, and you also have platforms. You can knock friends off platforms, try to get higher and get more points, right? And gather more things up and make your fighter the best. So if we scroll down here, right, this is time about creating an account. Let's skip all that. Here's some comments that are out, but we get down here and it talks about the project story. So it's going to give you a blurb. Oh, there you go. 2 to 4 players. It should take about 60 minutes, 12 plus. The other thing that I like about Gamefound is right off the bat, it tells you kind of all the genres that are connected to it. So if you like fantasy, there you go. If you like that theme. If you like dice rolling, I like dice rolling, there you go. Action game, it's like a video game. It's based on platforming video games, right? Adventure, right? You have things like that. You might see some of those keywords that you like. You might just like the art. Get a blurb on the game. Here's a quick picture of the game. It might be kind of hard to tell, but there's platforms and you work your way up. These tiles flip as you go. You fight a boss. You try to be the first one up there, start fighting the boss to get points on the boss. So it looks interesting. Like I said, I don't know if I'm really into the chibi stuff, but then they put a boss like this, which for whatever reason looks cool to me, right? And then they have Medusa, which looks kind of cool. Like I said, I'm kind of worried about showing this to Lavon. Here's some of the heroes. So you can go through and look at all the kind of things that they're going to initially have in the Kickstarter. All right, let me get over here and see. Hopefully don't go too fast for you guys. So it's going to show you the dice, right? It's going to give you a good heads up. Gamefound does really good so far that I've noticed, giving you a good heads up on the game. So let's say you look through this, you like it. See, there's the platforms. You work your way up. So yeah, it talks about what you do, and there's an enemy probably attacking them. I don't know if I like that the enemy is not a miniature, but, you know, I'm new at this stuff. I hear an argument for not everything being in a miniature, and I understand lower price. So let's go back up to the top. So you look at this, you scroll through the page, you think you like it, you just kind of click the follow here. If you don't already have an account, it'll prompt you to set up an account. It costs you nothing. You can set up the account and then follow it, and you'll get notices. That's why I meant to say earlier instead of warnings. Notices in your mailbox about, hey, this game is about to open up and stuff like that. All right, so let's go ahead and move on. So the next one, I'll probably screw this one up, but Chronicles of Drunagor. Right? I've never heard of this company before, but on the YouTubes, there's quite the rage for this game. And this is a coming up game, right? You could see in 17 days, you could back it, you can get this cool multi-headed, multi-chested, multi-armed, I'm assuming a monster to fight, by clicking follow. You get to save $13. They basically give you this, is probably, I'm willing to bet it's a bad guy to fight. You get it for free instead of paying for it later. This is going to be a dungeon crawler. I like dungeon crawlers. I have some friends who don't. They'd rather play RPGs, for each their own, right? But lots of minis and stuff. Same thing goes with this one. You can scroll down. You can look through everything. You got 1 to 5 players, so a higher player count. I like that, 1 to 5. It tells you this is a reprint and new content, which usually happens is when this stuff goes, they give you access, especially someone like me who didn't get the first one, give you access to that original thing. I did this with Mythic Battles Pantheon, paid a lot of money. But I got Pantheon, Mythic Battles Pantheon, and the newer one, which is Ragnarok. So I backed both of them. But this is going to have a reprint of the original. It's going to have some extra content. It's telling you the original got a 9.2, which makes me think maybe I want to back it. But the price is probably going to be pretty high, right? Because it's just huge, right? And there's that sculpt up close. You can scroll down. Fallen Sisters. Also, it's multiple people in one. That's kind of crazy. Fallen Sisters, right? So you can get that one for free if you back the game early on. Here's testimonials about the game. So there's this one. If you like dungeon crawlers, you like minis. Actually, let's go down a little bit. I'm sure it shows probably more minis. I'm trying to make this video quick. Shows more minis. All right. Not a ton. It looks like there's a lot going on, which I'll admit, guys, it scares me because I'm newer, right? So this stuff kind of scares me because I'm a little bit new. But I mean, the minis look cool. Let's see the heroes. Sometimes it's the heroes for me. Here's some of the heroes. Not super impressed with the heroes though. So bad guys, the monsters. Yes, I like the monsters. Heroes, not so impressed. But it's one of those things. I clicked follow, right? So I flipped through all this. I decided yes. I went ahead and I clicked the follow button, right? I didn't read the whole thing. It's Age of Darkness Apocalypse. That's a weird name. Age of Darkness Apocalypse, right? All right. So anyways, I clicked the follow on my account, so I'll know. And maybe I'll do another video talking to you guys about, should I buy it or should I not buy it kind of thing. Not to steal Board Games code to back or not to back, just to kind of talk to you guys. Now the next one. So this one is Divinus. And this is from Lucky Duck Games. This is another game that's going to come out. The last one was 17. Sorry, my air conditioner kicking on. I keep forgetting to turn it off. All right, I will get better at turning it off. So this one starts in 24 days, so there's some time. It's by Lucky Duck Games. So if you guys heard us talk about Destinies, you probably haven't yet because we haven't done anything with it. I've learned the game. I've played it a little bit. I want to get Resvon to sit down and play it with me or call in and play it with me. But this is by Lucky Duck Games, right? From what I remember reading, the Norse pantheon fell. So not Zeus. I was gonna say Zeus. That's the wrong one. This is Zeus here. The Norse pantheon falls. So you have Thor and Odin and Sif and all of them, and they go after the Greek pantheon with Zeus and all them. And you are a champion. You can look at it that way, trying to become a demigod. So once again, you can scroll down through here. You got the 2 to 4 players, 60 minutes, 12 plus. You got all these things. You got fantasy, yes, please. Mythology, yes, please. Strategy, I like strategy. Dice, yes, please. Logical, I don't know exactly what that means, but I think you have to suss things out. Kind of cool. The one drawback is that it's app driven, but it's a give or take. And so far, Lucky Duck Games has proven that they can have app-driven games. So what they've shown here are 2 app-driven games they have. Chronicles of Crime and Destinies, which Destinies is the newest, so it's really big right now. So it's kind of edging me towards being okay with app-driven. But, so there's a little blurb on Divinus, right? And you go down, there's cool art, and it's 45 to 60 minutes, 12 plus, right? And then 2 to 4 players. So this doesn't give you as much. But what it is you look at this, you say, hey, it doesn't hurt me to follow, I'm going to follow it. And that's what I did. I said, hey, doesn't kill me to follow. It's got pantheons in it. I like mythology. Cool. So you go ahead and click the follow. This one gives you a €5 credit, right? If you click the follow. All right, now the next one is a tease. It's kind of being messed up to you guys. But who doesn't like to be part of Grayskull and being a master of a universe, right? So if you're young, I don't know, my son currently at the filming of this is 23, but he had He-Man when he was a kid. That's because they reproduced him because I had He-Man when I was a kid. Now, why is this a tease? Because this is only in Europe. We cannot get this. But I just kind of wanted to show you guys. You basically can be He-Man or Skeletor in their forces, and you run around Eternia. It looks like you kind of just fight each other and gather up followers, right? You could still hit follow and see what comes through with everything. In my account, I did hit follow. It'll probably just hurt my feelings, just to see kind of what they set up. This doesn't come out to the end of July. So these are all things that are coming out in July. But this doesn't come out to the end of July. But we can't get it in the States unless you have a friend in Europe that you can get it sent to and then pay them the money to have it sent to you. That's up to you. But you can hit follow. I hit follow. You scroll down here. If I remember right, this page doesn't give you much. It's got a cool, super great painted mini of He-Man, which I probably don't. I know I don't paint that well, so mine wouldn't look like that. But it gives you a quick little look at what's going on, right? You can see the people down here. I can't tell from this distance who they are. I'm assuming that's Beastmaster because he has the whip, but that almost kind of looks like Beastmaster down there too. So I don't know. It looks like it might be app-driven, right? So this is Masters. I skipped that completely. Let's go back up. Masters of the Universe, Fields of Eternia, right, is the name of this game that's coming out just in Europe. It's 1 to 6 players, so it's got that player count. 90 minutes, hour and a half, pretty good. Collectible models, I don't know, it scares me with collectible. Adventure, yes. Cooperative, yes. But they had already got me with He-Man. Let's be honest, they got me with He-Man. So let's go ahead and scroll down. Yeah, this one was really short. Just gives you another blurb of everything. So this one, if you're in America watching, which I'm assuming most, especially at this point, viewers are from America. I think most of my viewers are my friends, and a couple of you guys who aren't, thanks for joining us. This is awesome. And friends and family, it's awesome too. But so this is just for people in Europe. This was just a teaser I want to show you guys, and kind of talk a little bit more about following games that are coming out in future, and these are all July games. But I will say in September, CMON will be kickstarting on Kickstarter a He-Man miniatures game itself. There's not a lot of information out on it. You can go to cmon.com to get what information they have at this point. It's probably going to be similar to this, running around fighting, but we will see. All right, this next thing is not coming out in July. This is already out, right? Wild Ascent, Lavon Rising. Now, I want to make clear for everybody, this is an expansion. Now, with everything else, you can get the main game too with the expansions, but this is a new expansion. I think there's some editing to the old game rules. This is a new company. This is their second go, I think. I could be wrong, but Lazy Squire. As you can tell, this one's actively going. And the reason I picked this is, one, it's a big game, and if you like miniatures like I do and you're watching this, you might want to jump on this. Let's see, you have 6 days left. But there's a lot of buzz about this. And really, even with the buzz, it might get the game on your radar, but still think about those things. Do I like the theme? Who am I going to play with? How many people do I normally want to play with? Right? That's kind of the who am I going to play with, how many. I like big player counts. How much do I want to spend? Right? Am I going to be able to get the game and play it? Will it be worth the money I spend? Things like that. So if you look over here, kind of like Kickstarter, you have how much money it's currently making, right? Its goal was 50,000. It's made 788,754. Right. So it's got a lot of backers, almost 3,000 backers. You can click back the project. You can still follow it at this point if you want and wait till the last minute to see kind of what they add. But one of the things I really do like about Gamefound, like I said, is it's really easy to read through this page. So let's go ahead and scroll down really quick. 1 to 4 players, 75 minutes, right? See, almost an hour and a half, 14 plus. Here's the things: fantasy, survival, you guys got me. RPG, all right. Adventure, and their solo play. I know it's getting to the point where we're going to start, if you haven't already, get a bunch of people together and start playing games, but still interesting. The miniatures look wild. I'm still on the fence if I really like them. They're way detailed. I'm not saying they're not good, but do I like them that detailed? Right, and so you scroll down. Alex Radcliffe, this is Board Game Co. 5 out of 5. The joke with him is he's given everything 5 out of 5, but I think there's a lot of great games actually coming out to kind of defend him. And he has a wider swath of games he's played. I think he plays like 100 and something a week. He also does a lot of previews and stuff, and that's part of it. But you can scroll down here, look at tons of minis, big bosses. And from what I understand with this game is, it's a co-op. You're running around fighting monsters, right, and leveling your person up. So if you like monster fighting and stuff like that, There you go. So, not necessarily a dungeon crawl, but kind of close in that area. You're still running around fighting monsters. There's always a why join. Why join the hunt? Why back our game instead of buying it later on? It'll give you some pointers. And then the one thing I like about this is, one, they have it right here, is what you can back, right? They also have the reward backing here, but it's letting you know if you want everything. So this one says includes Wild Ascent core game, Shadows of Silverstream, which I think was an expansion with the core game, Dangers of the Wild, and Lavon Rising expansion. I don't know if maybe Lavon Rising is the newest, so maybe there was the main game, then there was the 2 expansions in this. Like I said, I'm kind of new on this game. So you get all that. You can add the pledge right there. $369. As sad as it sounds, for as many minis as this gives you, it's about kind of what they go for. You can get the Wild Ascent, just the core game, for $119. So you can kind of do the math in your head between the two. And then you can get the Shadows of Silverstream pledge, which includes Wild Ascent core game and Shadows of Silverstream expansion, right? And all unlocks and unlock wave 1 stretch goals. Sometimes you can get things shipped in 2 waves, and they divide up the stretch goals by that. Sometimes they divide the stretch goals by expansions too in crowdfunding sites. Because I want to make this fast, let's go ahead and jump down. I give you guys some more minis. That guy blowing the horn looks pretty cool. Let's see. So you're getting lots of crazy wild minis. I want to see if I can scroll down and find one where it shows just everything. Here's add-ons. It's the other thing you got to watch with Kickstarter is you're like, oh, you know what? First time I'm going to do it. I'm going to spend $400. A lot of money. I'm going to spend $400 because minis and adventure and yes. And then you scroll down and you're like, but wait a minute. I have to spend 15 more and another 15 more. And, you know, so it gets that way. If I remember right, Miss Terror, like remember I told you follow early, or like we were talking about with Chronicles of Drunagor, I think this was you got it for free, if I remember right, if you followed and backed early. So there you go. But here you go. 2 boxes, 49 miniatures. So this goes down here. It kind of tells you what's in everything, right? And you can kind of see, it doesn't show, actually it doesn't show. I like when they show it all out because then you understand what you're buying. So this is just showing you all the boxes stuff. You can see some of their coolest ones. That mammoth looks crazy when you see it up close. The dragon looks really cool. But there you go. This one's actually going on now, so you can jump in if you want. Like I said, if I go I jumped it all the way back up. All right, you have 6 days left, so you can go ahead and back it now if you're interested. Now, these next 2 things I just want to talk about really quick, they're going to be on Kickstarter. So with that said, kind of in the Gamefound thing, Gamefound is a crowdfunding site just like Kickstarter, slightly different on how you navigate, but it's pretty easy to understand when you get there, right? But still watch all the video so I can tell you how, but you've already watched me talk about it. All right, let's get this over with, right? All right, so some things that are going to be coming to Kickstarter is Zorro the Dice Game, Stunts and Allies. So this is an expansion for Zorro the Dice Game, all right? And I got Zorro the Dice Game. I was going to back it, and I didn't, and then it was on super great deal after, and I picked up the core game, awesome. Then I picked up the expansion that came with the core game for really cheap, awesome. So I'm interested in backing this too. It's a dice rolling. Zorro's dead, or I can't remember if he's dead. I think he retires, and then you're vying with everybody else at the table to be the next Zorro. So you do feats, which is rolling dice. You got to get certain things, and you fight. I can't remember what they're called. I'm gonna say hooligans, but they're not. And then you fight the boss. And then if everybody gets a chance at the boss, if a couple people at the table beat the boss, the draw mechanic is then you sword fight, right? You have a duel, you fence. And so I think it's really fun. It's kind of a party game. The game groups I played with have had a blast with it, so I'm interested. Don't know exactly when this is going to be. A lot of times you can click down here and they'll give you a link to the Kickstarter page. This is on BGG. Remember I talked to you guys about Board Game Geek before? So you can look up games, and they pop their game up here usually before they even come up on Kickstarter. So, but this one's supposed to be coming out on Kickstarter. It's supposed to be in June. I'm thinking sometime in July. So if you're interested, keep your ears to the ground, because I'm willing to bet that this one, it's from Pull the Pin Games. This one will have the core Zorro and everything. I'm hoping it'll allow you to buy like a pack, the upgrade pack for the first Kickstarter, because I'd like to get those things. Now the other one and last one is Rat Queens to the, I keep want to say into the slaughter, to the slaughter. Now this is a comic book that's been out for a while, and I've circled around, I've seen it, and I thought about picking it up, and I haven't, be it what it may. But this really seems like it's going to be a dungeon crawler kind of game, and you have, I'm assuming it's going to be these main characters. They're all female friends. I think she's a little elf, and there's a magician and a warrior, and your trope kind of people. And the interesting thing when I was reading about this game, because on BGG you can kind of get a blurb from the company about the game. They talk about building and reinforcing your friendships. Right, I'm trying to glance and see it. Here we go. Power up your queen, right? Because they're rat queens, with the new abilities and friendship, right? As you take on hordes of monsters, right? So you get to fight monsters, dungeon crawl. And one of those things is trying to keep that friendship going by helping out, which sounds weird because when you play a dungeon crawl, you're trying to help everybody anyways to win. But this one sounds like there might be some kind of leveling up mechanic for yourself when you help people, which is kind of cool. So this one's just interesting. Definitely gonna have my ear on to the ground for this one to check it out when they pop it up on Kickstarter. So that's basically it. You know, I just wanted to give you guys a quick talk about Gamefound. Because let's go ahead and jump back over to Gamefound. Gamefound because it has a whole bunch of things coming out in July, and they're just starting off. They're pretty fresh. They've had some things, and they were a pledge manager before that, but you know, as a crowdfunder, they have some things going on. So I just figured I'd give you some, talk to you guys a little bit about that, especially if you're just getting into this. Give you the information that I've gathered up so far. And then talk about a couple more things that were coming out, or at least should be coming out in July, and those will be on Kickstarter. So I hope you guys enjoyed. As usual, help us grow the coalition by liking, commenting, and subscribing. I'm Steven with Cardboard Coalition. See you later, everybody. He's got to push the button. Has he pushed the button? He hasn't pushed the button. And push. Oh, another button.